And Maisha breakfast begins right now. My name is Bushabi Jr. Welcome to the biggest show around. No other show like this one. We're going to be talking about quite a number of issues from the highest cost of living Kenyans have ever experienced to a lot in the social media and the social life of all Kenyans and around the globe. My name is Bushabi Jr. Like I said, you're watching Maisha TV. This is Maisha Breakfast. And of course, I'm not alone. I'm with a beautiful lady right next to me, Rida Kering Chebet.
Well, thank you so much, Bushabi Jr., and much appreciation for joining us. You're watching Maisha Breakfast here on Maisha Television, and you can join this conversation via our social media platforms, that is Facebook and YouTube, Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE, and our phone number is 0746 999 As Bushabi Jr. mentioned, we're going to talk about a lot of issues, and I think that the major issue will be the deputy presidential debate that was held on Tuesday night.
We had two tires.
Yes.
That is, the first tire started at around 5:30 in the evening up to around 7:30. That involving the Roots Party running mate, that is Justina Wamai.
Yes.
And then we had the Agano Party's running mate,
Ruth Mutua.
Yes, and quite a debate there when we saw Justina defending the marijuana debate. I mean, the whole narrative of marijuana and legalizing bang, that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
And she said something so interesting, that most young people are broke and we need some good business to make some money.
Yes.
And that's why they're advocating for legalizing bang so that it can be sold and so that young people can have money in their pockets.
Yes.
And she said that it's not that we have a beard gang. Those guys ambao wanafuga,
wale ambao na zile ambao wasichana wanapenda sana ndevu.
Yes, anasema kwamba si kwamba there's a beard gang in Kenya. Guys are broke and they cannot afford kunyoa ndevu.
But in most cases we find that wamenyoa kichwa, and you say unajua ukienda kunyoa kichwa huku ni free. So I don't think that was
I think she was just trying to pass her point. But she had a hard time explaining the bang narrative and the policies that would surround the whole legalizing of bang. How are you going to control the misuse of the same drug?
Yes.
Because there are no policies in place to really govern the whole structure. Because everyone will just grow bang. And yeah, that's it. The young people start smoking that bang and becoming mad, and they'll abuse the drug.
Yeah, and we even saw Agano deputy presidential candidate Ruth Mutua saying that alikuwa na jirani. She gave an example of a young man who woke up at 5 anakata nyasi, kumuuliza anasema that
actually she said satana ya usiku.
Yes, satana ya usiku, sorry. Anapunguza kazi ya kesho.
Anafika nyasi satana ya usiku.
Anajaribu kupunguza kazi ya kesho. Also, another issue that came up during the first deputy presidential debate is the issue of postponing the constitution for 6 months, which is in Roots Party manifesto, and we saw Justina trying to explain how they're going to do it, and she said that they did not mean that they will suspend the whole constitution. They meant some parts of the constitution.
That's the funny thing. Which parts? What are you going to suspend? What is so bad in the constitution that you're going to suspend?
Yes.
And those are some of the issues that popped up. Ruth Mutua also said something interesting, that the opinion polls are usually sponsored, so yes. They don't really care about the opinion polls, and that there's no way watashindwa kura because Wakenya wamechoka na wanataka uongozi ambao ni mzuri. But one thing I have to give credit to Justina, the Tingiza Mti running mate. She was so articulate throughout the whole debate, and she was so, she was straight to the point, and she had a good narrative to tell.
Yes.
Only that most of what they advocate for cannot be accepted
Yes.
by many Kenyans.
And also concerning the issue of mental illness caused by marijuana, she defended the move. She accepted that actually it is true that people get mental illness from consumption of marijuana, but in the first place, she said that many people have mental challenges because of unemployment and high cost of living. What is your take on this? Do you think that there is a mental illness caused by unemployment and high cost of living?
Of course, there's a lot of pressure to survive. Just even affording food, clothing, and shelter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on. Perhaps maybe you have a family, you don't know how you're going to feed that family. The cost of living has gone up, and we've had cases. I've read stories of men running away from their wives and leaving the children and the wife behind. We've had stories of people committing suicide because they could not afford to pay 30,000 shillings.
Yes.
Yeah, just that tells you that the pressure is just too much. And you see what kills them and what depression is doing to Kenyans is that it's not the money or the denny that is actually killing that person. It is the thoughts. What will people say?
Yes.
Am I going to be jailed? Something, will I manage tomorrow? So those thoughts keep bombarding people until they see like, I can't come out of this alive, and they kill themselves. There's pressure. But what we need is a ability to handle the pressure. Yeah, the life skills. I usually say we need the life skills to handle the pressure. But all in all, I love the debate and the facts that Wajakoya and his team, they came up with a sort of thinking outside the box, sort of narrative.
Not the politics that Kenyans have.
Yes, Kenyans are not used to that kind of politics. It's for liberal minds.
Yeah.
This thing is for almost developed countries where they have these liberal minds. They have their own rights and stuff like that. And it's just a glimpse of what's going to be happening in future. By the way, we're going to be having generations that won't care about so much about values and culture, where they come from. And they're going to be advocating for some crazy stuff. And eventually, I know that eventually there's a generation that is going to legalize bang in Kenya.
Yes, true. And before I just ask you to rate between Justina Amai and Ruth Mutua, who performed well during the debate, do you think that it is right? Because we saw Justina Wambui Amai saying that hatumi bangi na hata waitumia bangi, yet they are pushing to legalize it here in Kenya.
I think she was also very categorical when she said they are not legalizing bang to smoke it. It is bang for industrial, production and export. And we know that bang, I'm not a medical doctor and or anyone who is dealing with drugs in a professional capacity, but the little information I have and I know is that the drug has been used in medical purposes, and even food, and even healing some of the diseases around. But you see, that is like going to a bunch of madmen who have loaded guns. You stand in front of them and shout, "Can you shoot?" So legalizing bang in Kenya needs strict policies. And then implementation of those policies and penalties and discipline. Is Kenya ready for that? Are the young people ready for that? Even right now as we are talking, there are so many young people who are smoking bang. Every day there's, police are nabbing bang worth 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. It's in the market, it's in the black market. But you see, it is illegal to plant or grow bang. And at the same time, it's legal to use the drug. But for medicinal purposes and the legal way of using it through maybe medical world, I think it is something that can be thought about. So Wajakoya actually and Justina, they are bringing a conversation. What I love about it is that they have brought a conversation for people to talk about.
Yes.
We've seen the religious leaders coming to, say something about it. We've seen the government leaders coming to say something about it. We've seen all leaders from every quarter. They've come out to say something about the same. And I think she made some things very clear. The only problem is that when Wajakoya is campaigning, he doesn't say that. Okay? When he's on the streets, he says something totally different. That you can come home, and smoke yours, and get high, and you from work, you can come and relax. When you say that, you're sending a different message from what you want people to know about your agenda. And so I think Justina tried, but selling that idea. Can her own son or daughter smoke bang? And she says, even herself, she has never, ever, and she'll never use bang. So why are you advocating for something that even you cannot allow your own children, and yourself, you can't allow it in your own household? Why do you want it in the households of other Kenyans? That is the biggest question. So it portrays you as a leader. I mean, someone who just maybe brought up a conversation, that's it. But when it comes to really leadership, if that is the direction, then Kenyans will question, will live with more questions than answers.
And between Justina Wamae, who is the Ruth's deputy presidential candidate, and Ruth Mutua, who is Agano's deputy presidential candidate, who between the two do you think performed well?
I think for them, they're newbies. It's their first time in politics. And we will be very unfair to judge them basing on those who've been in politics. But between the two, basing on their standards, they both actually brought out what they stood for and what they don't stand for. They agreed on quite a number of things, that indeed the country really needs salvation, especially the economic salvation. They both agreed that the country needs to fight corruption. And those are the major things that are affecting Kenyans. But now the mode of doing it is where they differed. And so you can see that being newbies in the game, you can't say this one beat the other. In my own opinion, I think they just performed, both of them performed well, keeping in mind that it's their first time. And they articulated their issues, and we listened to them, and Kenyans listened to them. Perhaps maybe in the next general election, because if you ask me, this is a two-horse race, and that's the reason why they came in the first tier, because they have a 5% and below rating in opinion poll. And so it's something good. Maybe next time Kenyans will think about them. But in my own opinion, both of them articulated their issues well. Kenyans will judge, and they were loud and clear. Like our viewers usually say, you're loud and clear in this region. So they were loud and clear to all Kenyans, and I believe that they both performed so well. We understood them. We could tell what they stood for and what they didn't stand for. We could see the confusion in their agenda. There was the issue of capital offense, like if you commit corruption and you are killed for by hanging if you are ever involved in corruption. And we saw the arguments. Mutua was saying that she doesn't subscribe to that.
And even it is not promoted in the constitution.
Exactly. And then Justina Wamae was saying that is the way to go to deal with corruption. So, but what are the policies? What does the constitution say about this? But we also know that Justina Wamae and his boss Wajakoya, they said they'll suspend the parts of the constitution. So you don't know exactly. That's dictatorship. That's almost like running a kingdom. And a kingdom is totally different from a democracy. And Kenya is a democratic country. You just can't wake up and do your own things. And so for me, they performed well. We understood them. That was the main aim. We wanted to know them. and now we know them and we know what they stand for.
Yes. Yeah, according to me, I can also say that they performed well. The way Justina expressed their views, explained their manifesto and how they're going to implement. I can say that Justina did a good job. Then in Agano's side, that is Ruth Mutua, she also tried, although in the part of how to implement their policies and what they are promising Kenyans in their manifesto, she had a bit rough time explaining. But then, as you see, they are newbies, and this is their first time in politics. In fact, they are new faces, except for Justina, who said that she once contested for a parliamentary seat as an independent candidate. That is after she failed to clinch the Jubilee nomination certificate. So she has been in politics a while, kitambo kidogo, but then kwa sasa ameenda ile level ya juu zaidi. So I can say that they have tried, and that was a good job. Now,
be careful. There are some of the comments that we might read about, especially the issue of when Zubeida, who was one of the panelists who were asking them questions, alimuuliza kama ushawahi vuta bangi, and she said sijawahi na sitawahi. And then she also said the bang that they are talking about is not the bang that is usually smoked. It's called hemp. There's a difference. But now the level of the drug that makes you go high in hemp is a bit lower than the marijuana, but they all come from the same family.
Yes.
But hemp is used for quite a number of things, and I think they needed to bring this out so clearly. Hemp is a very, it's banned, by the way. It's just banned, but its drug level is a bit different, and it's used for quite a number of things. And she said it is not the kind that DCI usually arrests people. That's not the bag they are talking about. They're talking about hemp. And just reading some of the comments online, there's a lady called Sarah. She's saying that but she seems to be high on something illegal. And then there's also a comment, somebody is congratulating them. I mean, Justina saying that Wajakoya and Justina really did their assignment so well. I don't know what kind of assignment they're talking about. And then maybe just to go down and see, Justina Wamai is very excellent in debating, very articulate, expressing and explaining their agenda. And somebody, Kevin Otunga says, this lady Justina deserves a CS job. She's really calm and bright. Somebody else is saying, who Justina ndio wangemenyana na Gachagua? I think there were rules. If you had 5% and below rating, there's no way you can debate with those ones who have higher rating. And then somebody else is talking about Justina Omae has talked about Ruth's party manifesto, but Ruth has just been asking questions about that manifesto, and not at any moment has she explained about Agano party manifesto. And this is something that also came out so clearly, by the way.
Yes.
She kept on asking Justina questions about Bang, questions about, she was just like interrogating the manifesto,
yes.
the Ruth party. Seeking clarification. But her principle is a pastor.
Yeah, in most cases we've seen David Mwaura coming out and really attacking Professor Jojo Jakoya concerning his move to legalize bang, his manifesto on snakes. Unajua manifesto ya Jakoya ni ile ambayo ilienda a totally different direction from those of his opponents.
Yes, and so the first tire was quite a show. I loved it. Some punchlines here and there, but there are three major issues. I think we've said something about them. One of them is the hanging issue, where Justina Omaya said Kenyans are happy about the hanging thing. They are saying corruption is accounting for deaths. It is about time we stand firm on corruption. Our idea instilling fear that mali ya umma ipewe heshima. Sisi ndio tunajua shida zetu. That's what she said. and then there was the issue of the of Bang, and I think those were some of the major highlights of the show. Ruth Mutua saying that marijuana is illegal. How do we work around such manifestos? And then what you said, kuna kijana alikuwa anafieka nyasi where I live at 11 p.m.
trying to reduce the work of the following day.
Nikamuuliza what happened, akaniambia alikuwa anapunguza kazi ya hiyo siku. And then kumbe kijana alikuwa anavuta bangi. Na hiyo ni kitu dangerous sana, because the drug has really messed up so many young people. And so that was some of the highlights of the first debate.
Yes, and if you have your feedback concerning how the debate was, who do you think performed well, which issues do you think that they did not touch on and they did not explain well, you can engage with us. Our Facebook page is Maisha Television Kenya, Instagram and Twitter at Maisha TV KE. Our YouTube channel is Maisha Television Kenya, and our phone number is 0746 999 841. My name is Rida Chebet Karing, and you are watching Maisha Breakfast, and I'm not alone in studio.
She's with Bushabi Junior, right?
Yes, so we still have a lot of issues to talk about. We have the second tier of the debate, which is one, unasikia Bushabi alisema that tunajua kwamba farasi ni wawili.
Farasi ni wawili.
They were splitted into two tiers. We had the first tier and the second tier, and we are going to touch on the second tier in a little bit, but
we are still talking about the same issues. There's an issue of high cost of living, which is something so loud right now in the political arena. Bei ya unga imepunguzwa, imerudi, lakini ni kwa wiki
nne. That is after elections. I think 1 week after the elections.
Yes, so
tutajua itarudi ama itabaki hapo.
Kama uko na pesa, nunua unga uweke kwa nyumba ya kutosha. You never know if the price will remain or will go up. So that tusikue na shida. And there's a research that 56% of income of households goes to food.
Yes.
Yeah, Kenyans are spending at least 56% of their money just on food, on food alone. So the cost of living imeenda juu. When will you invest? When will you do other things? Because all your money, close to 60% is going to, food. Na hujaweka rent hapo ndani kama unalipa rent and stuff like that. So, it's something big. We really need to get into the second tier of the whole matter.
I think that it will be better for us to touch that on our second part. But for now,
okay, go ahead.
But for now, I like us to just highlight a little bit concerning the high cost of living. Kenyans have been crying, and at least the government came in and reduced the bei ya unga. It was slashed from 230 shillings to 100 shillings. That is the 2 kg packet. Although some shops are still selling it at the higher price, because utapata, and actually that is the question that I wanted to ask you. You will find that mtu alikuwa ameshanunua stock na ile 230 shillings alifaa auze ndio apate ile faida yake. What will happen to these retailers?
Of course, you're a business person. If you're a business person, you have to clear the stock. I mean, there's no way I can buy something at 400 shillings and then you expect me to sell it at 200 shillings. It can't happen. I must clear the stock first with the same prices to get my profit back. Or even get my investment back, and then after that, then the vitu zitaanza kurudi. So I think maybe after a week or two, that's when you can really fully enjoy the whole thing. But I know that some shops and many shops will still be selling at that price.
Yeah.
And unless ni makatel.
And as you're still in that topic of the high cost of living, the issue that I wanted us to tackle is the Kenya Kwanza issue. Previously, they were campaigning that the cost of living is high. Serikali ingilie wapunguze bei ya chakula. Now the government came in and it slashed the price of unga to 100 shillings. But then they're still campaigning, saying that wamepunguza bei ya unga ili Wakenya waweza kupigia Azimio kura?
Personally, I usually love to differentiate, separate between facts and politics. Politics is a game where you can say anything as long as you know how to say it. A good example is when Deputy President William Ruto says huyo mtu wa kitendawili, huyo mtu wa kitendawili ametutesa sana, and then you hear Raila Odinga saying si mnajua nani mwizi. You'd never hear them mentioning the names, okay, unless it is something positive that can't take them to court. So that's when they'll mention. So it's just a game, and in politics you look for a weakness. Na ukipigwa ngumi unatafuta vile una block hiyo ngumi. For this one, I think the government hit Kenya Kwanza 10-0. And so they have to look for a way of salvaging that. You just can't go down because they have been advocating for reduction of the price of unga.
Yes.
For a long time that has been the song. Si unaona bei ya unga imepanda, si unaona hata bei ya chumvi imepanda, and then all of a sudden as you're still singing, in fact while you're still campaigning and saying bei imepanda, 2 minutes ago bei ilishukishwa. So by the time you start singing bei imeshukishwa, what are you going to say? It's just a way of defending and maintaining your position. Otherwise you'll be looked at as a fool and you can lose numbers through that.
And Raila Amolo Odinga is coming in now saying that niende aliongelesha President Uhuru Kenyatta ili bei ya unga irudi chini. It's
politics at the end of the day, because if Raila Odinga had kept quiet, trust you me, maybe Deputy President and his team would have come up to say, "Tunaona tumewatetea wananchi paka wameamua kupunguza bei." So it depends on who uses what in the whole situation. So we don't know. President Uhuru Kenyatta and Agriculture CS Peter Munya, they have not come out to say, Raila came to our office in the morning and said tupunguze unga. They haven't said it, and unless they tell us that is what happened, then that's something that is believable. But right now, for me personally, I'm just going to treat this as normal politics. Yes, this is just politics. I mean, if your opponent takes credit over something, then you need to castigate your opponent, okay, and try to discredit that. You've seen that is the game. If Ruto would have said we've made noise until wamepunguza bei ya unga, Raila Odinga would have looked for another narrative. To run around with. But right now that Raila Odinga has taken the narrative of Yendi ameongea na president, William Ruto has to look for something else, to salvage his pack. And it's funny because he said wamepunguza bei ya unga because he was questioning the timing.
Yes.
And it's politics at the end of the day. I don't see any major issue about that. So Kenyans should treat that as politics and just enjoy the game, and life goes on.
Come August, you'll choose a leader who you feel that will look into your interest. Well, let's just take a short commercial break. We'll be back with the second part, and the second part of this program, that is Maisha Breakfast, will be fire because we'll be tackling the second tier of the deputy presidential debate that was between UDA's Deputy Presidential candidate Rigathi Gachagua and Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Deputy Presidential candidate Martha Karua.
Kuna soko kuanzia hapa DRC, hao watu wako na 90 million people, hawana ng'ombe moja. Hii DRC watu ya kuimba hii. Kina hii watu ya sijana kwanda Bungoma nani hawa wa kuimba. Na wanafunga suruali wanafungia hapa.
Dr. Otto, kindly withdraw your statement.
As a deputy president of this country for 9 years, so what is it that he can offer something new?
Wewe ni mshenzi sana. Ambia atori rishwa. Ambia atori toka. Ambia atori kwenda.
Ndio sisi tunataka hii azimio ambayo itatulete pamoja.
Lero ni lero.
Dunia nizamishe ama uniweke niishi peke yangu, kwani ninapomwamini kila binadamu mwisho ananigeukia.
Simekaangwa tayari.
Nitazame nami ni mwalimu nani wananigeukia.
Mtu akishaitwa mheshimiwa, mstahiki, excellency, mara baba, wengi wanakuwa na ulevi.
Lero ni lero.
Atakapofika sultani akisongea hivi sultani, watu wa Azimio la Ukora
watani makaziriko.
You execute practicals in the field, sometimes on top of cars.
Mimi nilipima na tarehe ya earthquake. Mimi nataka Kalonzo kuje tuzidi kutetemesha Kenya tukiwa na yeye kwa Kenya kwanza.
Nikisema hip hip mnasema ure.
Wallahi billahi sitawahi kula mshahara yangu.
Hip hip.
Hamujatumwa pale atikwenda kupendana, mumetumwa pale kwenda kufanya kazi ya wananchi.
Hip hip.
William Ruto, heshimu mkubwa yako ambaye ni Rais Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
Lero ni lero.
Unajua mimi leo nimefanya anaingia ICU.
Nataka tuandikiane kwanza hii mkataba ya miaka 5.
Niliambia Kenya hii tarehe 23 nitalipua mchezo wa siasa ambao utakuwa earthquake, mtetemeko wa ardhi kwa kisiasa katika Kenya hii.
Wale ambao wameimba ili wanajulikana.
Mimi nauliza, kwani ile nyumba yeye amejenga ya 1 billion, kama hiyo 1 billion ingeweka kwa gunia haingejaa?
Well, it's been quite a busy and productive day. We hope it has been for you too. Many thanks for choosing Maisha Prime News for factual, bold and incisive news from Kenya and also the neighbors. We've got a lot lined up for you, including our daily business feature, My Hustle, My Story, and also our education segment. Let's have a look at our top stories. This morning,
These two companies owned by the first family were exempted from paying 350 million. These are rich banks who have made money from domestic borrowing. They have lent money to government. They are in Fuliza. The owners are the richest people in Kenya. They were exempted from paying 350 million. Money that can put up 35 level 3 hospitals in Kenya.
Also this morning,
I just want to let Mr. Gachagua know that I do not have an iota of public land anywhere, in Kirinyaga or anywhere. I do not own land in South Gariama. I am glad he knows they are just allegations.
Plus,
The cost of milk, the farmer sells at 42, at the supermarkets, some places 120 per liter, others is 140, depending on where the supermarket is.
Kerosene?
I don't go to the supermarkets.
welcome, my name is Rida Kering Chebet. As the new presidential candidate Raila Odinga took his campaigns to Nakuru County on Tuesday, in their Nakuru tour, Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria joined the team in their campaigns, saying Raila promised to incorporate the party's manifesto if they form the next government. Raila and his running mate Martha Karua on Monday held an open day after a 2-day campaign across the city county. This is part of the efforts by the Azimio coalition to ensure that they have covered the most areas just 3 weeks to the August 9th polls. Millicent Luamba with more.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga took his campaigns to the areas of Gilgil in Nakuru County for a vote hunting mission. Speaking while addressing the residents of Gilgil, Peter Kenneth urged the residents to come out in large numbers and vote for Raila as the 5th president of the country. The second-term governor of Murang'a Mwangi wa Iria revealed that Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga agreed to infuse his Usawa manifesto if the team wins the August poll.
Ameweza kutembea. Mnafurahia? Asante, sasa tuko katika safari.
Together with Raila, Waria said they will implement his one cow, one household program if Azimio forms the next government. Azimio la Umoja presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga also promised that his government will address all problems faced by the Gilgil residents.
Kuna wananchi. Hadi nini? We pilipili Raila ya kuwasheni. Wajana sio? Mimi Raila Amolo Odinga nimeshakuwa waziri mkuu ya Jamhuri ya Kenya kwa miaka 5. Najua pale pesa iko. Sawa sawa. Najua pale hao jamaa wanapitanga naye na kupenya na kuiba pesa zenu. Mtaziba hizo mianya zote. Mtapata pesa ya kutosha ya kugumu hii mpango. Sawa sawa. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka kuuliza nyinyi, mko tayari kuungana na Azimio? Nikisema Azimio mnasema inawezekana. Azimio. Sasa nyinyi lakini mpaka mhakikisha kwamba baba haendi huko juu peke yake. Nimeleta salamu kwenu vile vile kutoka kwa mgomba mwenza yangu Mama Martha Wangari Karua. Mpokea.
The opposition chief also termed the promises of William Ruto as fake and said that Ruto is not in a better position to rule the country.
Hapa chini mmeweka watu wengine. mpaka mtume mimi na askari wangu, wanajeshi wangu, sio? Ukituma mimi peke yangu na Martha, wale jamaa watanifinya makende.
Raila was accompanied by a number of elected leaders and those seeking to be elected come August.
Tunasimama nao, Mtugo ametambuliwa hapa, tuko na women rep anaitwa Jambi pale. Jambi yuko hapo. Tuko Ngodhiro anatoka Naivasha, anasimama na Jubilee, na hapa niko na Mama Soko anaomba pia women rep. Tuko na Dr. Mwaura anaomba MCA hapa. Sindio? Na pia tuko na Jubilee candidate hapa Morendat. ODM tuko na candidate anaitwa Rebo upande wa Naivasha. Na pia an ODM MCA aspirant hapa na Madenge ambaye anaomba kiti kupitia Jubilee yuko hapa. Hawa warembo wako hapa. Huyu anaomba kiti ya Nakuru West kupitia KANU ambaye ni moja ya vyama vyetu katika Azimio. Na huyu ni aspirant wetu, this is Lesono's daughter. Anasimama upande wa Eburu Baruk, na huyu pia ni Ali anasimama huko.
Millicent Luamba, Maisha Prime News.
Thank you so much, Millicent. Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria has announced that he will support Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga in the upcoming August 9th polls. Wairia, whose application for presidency was dismissed by the Independent and Electoral Boundaries Commission (IEBC), said on Tuesday that he has held talks with Mr. Odinga about his manifesto. While addressing the media, Wairia also claimed that without providing evidence that IEBC was out to lock his candidature, even though he met all the requirements, Wairia said he will join hands with the other leaders to rally the region behind the presidency of Raila Odinga.
It will be Baba, Mother and the Son. The Son has come. Itakuwa nini? Itakuwa ojeni, itakuwa Baba, Mother and the Son. And the Son has said it. Yes. Who else can say when the Son has said it? The Son cannot mislead the family. The Son cannot, we must inherit the gains. So kuanzia sasa hapa Central ni Baba, Mother and the Son. And I'm the Son. Yes. And the Son will make sure that we are not scattered, because it is the role of the Son also to make sure that things are okay. So I have taken over that position and I have given myself that position. Sidio? Kwa sababu nimeona mahali vile tunaenda hakuna mtu anachukua hiyo. Sasa mimi ndiye kiongozi wa huko sasa. Na Rais Kenyatta ndiye our elder, our advisor. He will remain there and we shall continue respecting him.
And on to campaigns. Kenya Kwanza Coalition on Tuesday toured Kitui and Machakos counties in a bid to sell its agenda to the Ukambani people. Deputy President William Ruto led the coalition in the campaigns, calling on residents to support the Kenya Kwanza agenda, saying it will solve the economic problems facing Kenyans. The 2022 general election has been labeled as the most competitive, with much at stake for the two leading presidential contenders. Chepchumba Sharon prepared that story for us.
Akihaso juu chini ili avuke boda.
Deputy President William Ruto on Tuesday championed his 2022 campaigns of selling Kenya Kwanza manifesto bottom-up plan in Kitui and Machakos counties, drumming up support for his presidential bid and state house journey come August 9th general election.
Harambe! Harambe! Mko na habari, tuko na kazi tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8. Nyinyi tayari mmejipanga ama nyinyi ni wale wa kupangwa?
Addressing the residents, Dipiruto urged the Ukambani electorates to join the Hustler Nation, promising to implement an economic blueprint that addresses their challenges.
Nasikizeni marafiki zangu, hawa ambao tunashindana na wao sio watu wageni, tunawajua. Si ni huyu mtu tu ya kitendawili? Sasa mimi nataka nikuulize, nyinyi mmesikia kitendawili hakuna mpango yoyote? Si atakuja hapa Kitui aanze kusema haya vijana TVM, vijana tialala, vijana ria, alafu waende. So mimi nawauliza, tafadhali tusicheze karata mbaya. Hawa watu wengine hawana mpango yoyote, na ndio tunawaambia safari hii. Mimi nasema na watu wa Ukambani na waomba kwa unyenyekevu, tupige kura pamoja, ndio tuweze tutengeneze Kenya pamoja, tukitengeneza Kitui pamoja.
Mtonguni, munasema tubadilishe katiba ama uchumi? Katiba ama uchumi?
Deputy President William Ruto also pledged to address the high level of unemployment in the country if he clinches the presidential seat come August 9th general election.
Milioni 5 wamemaliza shule, wako na certificate, wengine diploma, wengine degree. Shida yao ni ajira, na wanaongezeka kila mwaka, vijana zaidi ya 1,600. Na ndio tunasema haitoshi kuwa na mpango, lazima tuwe na mpango maalum. Ndio tumesema we are going to have a Marshall Plan ya ajira ya hawa vijana. Tuweke pesa bilioni 200 kila mwaka kwa mambo ya textile, leather, agroprocessing, value addition, manufacturing, housing. Ndio tupange ajira ya hawa vijana. Kila kijana Kenya aweze kujisimamia, asimamie familia yake, na aweze kutusaidia kujenga taifa letu la Kenya.
Hawa watu hawana mpango wowote. Ukiangalia ni zile stories za kawaida, hawana plan. Umesikia sisi hapa Kenya Kwanza tuko na Marshall Plan ya vijana, mpate kazi, mpate ajira, mpate maisha mazuri. Sisi hatutaki mdomo, tunataka pesa kwa mfuko. Hawa watu wa kuzimia hawana mpango huo hata kidogo.
Na mimi nataka niambie vijana, tuko na nafasi kuwa kwa serikali ambayo inajali maslahi ya vijana. Vijana wameteseka for long, na rais wetu ametuahidi ya kwamba atatupatia ministry moja ambayo itakuwa inajali maslahi wa vijana. Vijana, mtapigia William Samoei Ruto kura? Mutajipanga na William Samoei Ruto kura?
Downplayed the move by the government to lower prices of maize flour after initially letting the price of the essential commodity eat high.
Mumesikia juzi, sijui ni jana, ati sasa wanatuambia ati watapunguza bei ya unga mpaka mupige kura, mpaka sijui tarehe 20. The reason why we have hunger in Kenya today is because we failed to implement the Big Four plan that had food security. It is because we removed the fertilizer subsidy from our farmers, and that is why farmers cannot produce enough food. You cannot cure that problem by simple handouts of food for 20 days. Alafu baada ya siku 20 watatuambia bei imefika tena shilingi 300. Wacha unga ikuje hiyo ya shilingi 100. Wacha unga ikuje hata ile ya bure. Lakini tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 hawa watu tuwapeleke nyumbani, wawache kutufanyia mchezo na mambo ya chakula katika taifa letu la Kenya. Kabla ya kupanga mambo ingine yote, uchumi inakuja number 1. Kwa sababu Kenya leo wananchi wengi wako na matatizo. Bei ya unga imepanda, ya mbolea imepanda, ya mafuta imepanda, ya petroli imepanda. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Yule candidate tuko na yeye ambaye anajali maslahi ya maskini ni William Samoei Ruto.
Prime News, Maisha Television. I'm Sharon Chepchumba.
Katiba ama uchumi? Wale wanasema uchumi nione kwa mkono, wale wanasema uchumi.
Thank you, Chepchumba. Sharon, let's wait and see the results come August 9th. Moving on, Siaya Senator James Orengo has launched his manifesto in his bid to become the next Siaya County Governor. Orengo has promised good governance, saying it will be a catalyst for the development of Siaya County should he become the next governor. Speaking during his manifesto launch at Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology, Orengo further pledged to fight nepotism, adding that only qualified and skilled manpower will be engaged by his administration to serve the residents. Nerima Wekesa with more.
Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology was the host of a length manifesto launch that was meant to propel Orengo's bid as Siaya gubernatorial aspirant in the forthcoming election. Orengo is looking forward to installing good governance in what he says is the Punjab for development, adding that even the Asia Tigers and other developed nations got it right in governance before recording success in their respective countries.
We take leadership is to assure people of Siaya good governance. I can tell you in many countries where there has been success, it's not because of resources. If you go to Singapore, it's a small island. If you go to Malaysia, it's not a big country. If you go to all the countries which are now called the Asian Tigers, including South Korea, the most fundamental point is about assuring the people of good governance. That's why in our constitution.
Other areas are the provision of modern physical infrastructure, promotion of tourism, sports and culture, resources mobilization and job creation, empowerment of women and youth, and enhancement of devolution and good governance.
We must attract investment that are going to put people to work. Investment that can put people to work. And we are lucky in a way that for the first time we are going to have a president on whom we can leverage on, looking at the manifesto, the 9-10-point agenda of Azimio, and the commitment to build infrastructure. If we can build infrastructure to make sure that every part of this county is accessible, we can attract more investment.
The launch was attended by several leaders, among them the outgoing Siaya Governor Cornel Arsanga, Orange Democratic Movement Party National Chair John Badi, and local members of parliament. ODM Chairman John Badi held Orengo for prioritizing good governance, adding that even the Azimio coalition believes that it is true that the country will make great strides in the development. For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Nerema Wekesa.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) on Tuesday conducted the second simulation exercise for the electronic transmission of polls results. The Commission's chairperson Ofula Chebukati on Sunday said the electoral body is committed to carrying out a free, fair and a successful exercise and called on all political stakeholders to work together with the Commission in case of any concerns to ensure a successful and seamless exercise. The simulation exercise is designed to pick challenges in transmission of electronic copies of election results used to collect provisional election results at the National Tallying Center. Electronically transmitted results are only used to generate a provisional tally, with IEBC required to verify physical statutory forms before declaring the outcome of an election.
So as I had indicated that once
we have taken those steps to ensure that the credibility of the vote is assured and protected. So it cannot be changed. But in the event that it is changed, we will know and we will reject it.
Now form is sent, that is form 34A. It is taken through it. The first thing we check, is it from an authorized device? So all the devices in the field are whitelisted that they are the ones who are supposed to send results to our system.
We want it to be made clear that the physical form will be the actual result that will be brought and used for announcement by the National Presidential Returning Officer, and that what is being sent is just a provisional result.
As we were seated here, we received news that there's been a fiber cut in Mandera affecting almost all the constituencies. So we may not receive the 12. I think Mandera has 6 constituents.
Candidate, the agents have signed.
Seychelles political leaders have praised President Uhuru Kenyatta, describing him as a visionary leader who has effectively voiced the African agenda in the global arena. The leaders, who included Seychelles National Assembly Speaker Roger Mansine, leader of government business in Parliament Bernard Georges, and opposition leader Sebastian Pillay, commended President Uhuru Kenyatta for playing a leading role in championing the interests of the continent. The Seychelles National Assembly Speaker pointed out that Kenyans and Seychelles have enjoyed strong ties since time immemorial, adding that as close neighbors, the two countries should enhance their partnership in ensuring peace, stability, and regional development for the mutual benefit of their citizens. Addressing the Seychelles parliamentarians, President Uhuru Kenyatta challenged Africa parliaments to play their role in entrenching constitutionalism and good governance. The head of state said he is dismayed by the increase of the occurrences of unconstitutional changes of power in several African countries.
I would like to commend and thank the Joint Cooperation Committee that has put down all the agreements that we have signed today in order to outline avenues that we can explore now and into the future, where our countries can maximize and move together as we seek to strengthen our existing ties. So once again, Your Excellency, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you not only for your invitation to visit this great republic, but also for the manner in which you have taken care of our citizens who both reside and work in your country. And I want to assure you that it is our intention to see how we can deepen that, as we also open opportunities for Seychellois citizens to also take advantage not only of our learning institutions, but also of economic opportunities that are available in Kenya. And I believe that this visit is indeed a true demonstration of our willingness and our keenness in the spirit of African brotherhood to take our relationship to the next level.
I have expressed my gratitude to President Kenyatta for the assistance provided by the 50 Kenyan healthcare workers who were recruited by the Ministry of Health in March 2020, following the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. I have reiterated my appreciation to him for the contribution of Kenyan teachers to our education system.
All right, let's take a short breather. Stay tuned for more news.
A strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey. But a woman of strength knows it is in the journey where she will become strong. Join Irene Mumbo Bushebi and Rita Kering on Prime Women Talk every Wednesday from 8 p.m. exclusive to MTV.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Is live at Hammersmith.
Barcelona is live from Damascus. We're on the doorstep.
For Maisha TV.
For Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television.
For Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television.
Trusted news, trusted sources, trusted dissemination of information.
Protect by all available means our territory.
Parliament must be careful.
Maisha Prime News, Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. Trusted, unbiased, authoritative. The stage is set. The time is now. Credible news. It is Prime News. Only on Maisha TV. Prepare for the beast. Informative, authoritative, unbiased. Welcome to Maisha News.
Engineering jobs can now also be found widely in the computer engineering, software engineering, nanotechnology, mechatronics, and many more.
Engineering tips in association with Bushangala Technical Institute Kakamega. Send an SMS quickly with your name, type of course, KCSE or KCPE min grade, postal or email address, desired intake, phone number and your ID to 0721 2801 80 or 0726 800561. Write to the principal, PO Box 2227 5100 Kakamega. Visit us online on www.bushangalatechnical.ac.ke. Exams are carried out by the Kenya National Examination Council. Bushangala Technical Institute Kakamega, Center of Excellence.
Kwa nini Mr. Wajakoya anazungumza mambo ya mbangi? Tutabeba bangi. Tutabeba na bangi.
Once elected, I'll introduce what I am calling mandatory toxicity and mental aptitude test for all Kenyans aspiring for office.
Mimi nilionea mambo kwa 18. Nilionea kwa 18.
Tafadhali kimya.
Nikatoka mapema nikaenda kwa nyumba nzuri.
Kimya.
Yeye ameionea hapo wakati bao imefungwa.
Martha Wangari Karua.
Kwa roho safi wa Kenya nasema Raila Odinga tosha mara ya 3. Ngoja hapa ndugu yangu.
Huyu kijana ambaye anadanganya nyinyi alisaliwa 1966 December. Mimi 1966 nilikuwa natoka nimemaliza form 4. Atuli. Tafadhali kimya. If I would have met the mother, I would have been the father.
A stupid man called Atuli.
Huh?
I have no regret to say he's a stupid man because he is. He's a very foolish person.
Kwa hivyo watu wapige mdomo kwa sababu hiyo ni haki yao, lakini kazi anaye macho anaona, si ni kweli? Si hii ndio kazi? Wenzangu hapa Mihango,
It is a season of seriousness, and only the serious presenters come onto your screen.
Maisha Prime News and Maisha Prime Morning Edition. My hustle, my story. Maisha Prime Weekend.
Rida Karim Chebet, Millicent Makoha, Brian Gad. Only on Maisha TV. The stage is set. The time time is now. Credible news. It is prime news. Only on Maisha TV. Prepare for the beast. Informative. Authoritative. Unbiased. Welcome to Maisha News.
Welcome back. You're watching Maisha Prime News. 6 suspects linked to the murders of at least 7 women in Mawanga, Nakuru County will be detained for a further 14 days to allow for the completion of investigations. The 6 are Evans Mishori Gebwaro, Julius Otieno, Josephat Simiyu, Dennis Mbolo, Isaac Kinyanjui, and Makoha Wanjala. Nakuru Law Court's Principal Magistrate Yvonne Hatambi granted the prosecution more days to detain the 6 on grounds that their DNA samples are still being processed. Magistrate Hatambi also detained the suspects so as to ensure that they do not interfere with evidence, as well as witnesses lined up to testify in the case. The investigating officers said forensic evidence, including communication data from a motorbike GPS tracker and mobile phone, points to the suspects being present at the crime scenes.
I therefore find that the application has merit. The suspects will be held in custody for a further 14 days.
And moving on, with less than 3 weeks left for Kenyans to cast their votes, Machakos residents have been asked to keenly elect leaders who will take care of their interests once elected, according to former Yatta Member of Parliament who drummed up support for Wiper candidates across the country in a bid to announce the party's stronghold.
Fanya vizuri sana kwa sababu ilifanya Wakenya wajue, Wakenya wa Machakos wajue viongozi wao. Wakajua mtu mmoja ajui mahospitali iko wapi. Ikafanya mtu mmoja ajui Machakos imeanzia wapi na imefika wapi. Ikafanya mtu mmoja tukonifirm yeye amekuwa akitumia Google Map kutembea huko ajui Machakos. Na hiyo ndio furaha yetu. Na ndio nawaomba watu wa Machakos tuchague mwanaume ama mwanamke wa hapa Machakos. Si mtu anatoka huko, amekuwa hiyo miaka yote kwa maofisi ya serikali. Anjawahi leta mradi hata moja ya shilingi 5, anjawahi leta. Hata huyo mtu anjawahi piga kura hapa na nisiwandia, anjawahi piga kura hapa Machakos. And if he can approve leo aite Mindia aseme ambia Wakenya nimekuwa nikipiga kura, kitu yangu ni hii ya kupigia kura. He has never voted in Machakos County. Niongeze hapo, amekuwa na rais miaka hii yote. Anjawahi ona haja wakati rais anakuja Ukambani kuja na yeye. Wakati rais anakuja hapa hata yeye akujangi. Nimekuwa mbunge hapa Yatta. Wakati rais alikuja hapa mara 3, huyo mtu hata hakuja hapa. Tumekuwa tukingangana kuona miradi ya serikali kuu imekamilika. Huyo mtu anjawahi tusaidia. Amekuwa akizuia Wakamba kwenda State House. Na saa hii ndio anaona kuna haja ya kuwataka. Naomba watu wakatae hiyo mtu kabisa. Is an imposter in my view.
And now, away from politics, the National Fund of the Disabled of Kenya has spent close to 500 million shillings this year to empower thousands of Kenyans living with disabilities. NFDK Board of Trustees Vice Chairperson Mike Kiswili stated that 160 million were used to buy assistive devices, tools of trades, and develop educational institutions handling persons with disabilities learners.
Hiyo inclusion for them to feel they are part and parcel of the national society. If you help one or two, you are helping